What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and welcome to our final video as part of Time Runs Out. Now, what I'm hoping is that as we progress to this video, that while we're going to find that pretty much everything ends, because of the fact that Marvel has crammed so much stuff into this, I'm hoping that by the time this video is finished, that you'll understand exactly the way everything's coming to an end, the way it is that the universe, or I guess the multiverse, is collapsing. But what I've also done is I've basically organized this video in a way to where I'm hoping that it won't be too oversaturated, that everything will make sense to you guys. And so, if you recall in our last video, we had talked about how Namor the Submariner, Thanos, and the rest of the Cabal had been left to die on an alternate Earth during an incursion with the Ultimate Universe, and that they were actually able to escape that incursion by jumping into the Ultimate Universe, and the planet that was getting ready to crash into the Ultimate Universe was destroyed by the Ultimate version of Reed Richards. And so what we find here is that alongside Reed Richards and Nick Fury from the Ultimate Universe, the Cabal basically feed them these half-truths. They tell them basically what it is that needs to be said in order for the ultimate group to go against the main Earth 616 continuity, when realizing that the final incursion is going to take place between the two, that the Ultimate Universe is going to crash into the main Earth universe, and that unless one of the Earths is destroyed, they're both going to be annihilated entirely. And so what happens is that the Ultimate Universe basically begins to make battle formations. They begin to prepare to attack the main Earth universe. Now, from here, what we do is we pick up with the Multiversal Avengers. Now, again, we discussed in the last video that with Captain America hunting down the Illuminati and the Illuminati themselves being on the run, there wasn't really anyone focusing on a way to end the incursions or even trying to keep the peace on the planet Earth. And so what Sunspot did is he launched his own Avengers team with the intention of sending half the team into the multiverse to try to find a way to stop the incursions, and the other half staying on Earth as a way to keep the peace. And so what we also discussed here was that when the group that was sent into the multiverse came across Doctor Strange, that they combined forces and they split into two groups. The first group was led by Doctor Strange, and they were designed to basically try to find a way to track down Rabu Malal, the person who was presumably responsible for the death, or I guess the death of a universe that started the whole chain reaction that led to the incursions in the first place. And the second group would basically go and try to find a way to end the incursions proper, which of course this group was led by Odin's son. And so what we find here is that when Thor Odinson and his group eventually come across the Beyonders themselves, that while there's a little bit of a discussion here, that that Thor Odinson and his group basically attack the Beyonders. And when they do, the Beyonders eradicate Thor Odinson's group entirely. They kill Hyperion, they kill Odin's son, they kill Starbrand, they kill Nightmask, they kill everyone. Like, the entire Multiversal Avengers group is now gone. And so what we do here is we jump to Doctor Strange. Now, what happens with him is he actually discovers that Rabu Malal is none other than Doctor Doom. Now, what we find is that in a previous video, if you recall, we had talked about how when the incursions had first started on the planet Earth, that Doctor Doom had basically found a way to map the multiversal network. And like most everybody else, Doctor Doom's goal was to find a way to either find the source point of the incursions and take that power for himself, or to simply end the incursions in their entirety. And so what had happened is that Doctor Doom and Molecule Man had basically gone on this journey. And what happens is that Doctor Doom basically explains to Doctor Strange everything that's been happening. What Doctor Doom says is that in the multiverse itself, there are a multitude of variations of different characters. That with Doctor Doom, for example, in one reality, he may have gained his powers a different way than he did in the main Earth 616 reality. That in one reality, Doctor Doom may be a superhero instead of a supervillain. In one reality, Doctor Doom may have no powers at all. But that with Molecule Man, it's not this way. With Molecule Man, he exists the same in every single reality, that his past is the exact same. He gained his powers the exact same. And this was actually an experiment by the Beyonders. What the Beyonders wanted to do is they wanted to create a being who was so incredibly powerful that that being's destruction would result in the destruction of the universe itself. And then they wanted to take that being and put one version of him in every single reality and then kill them all at one time, effectively destroying all the multiverse at the same time. And so once Doctor Doom had realized this, what he did, or at least what he was tasked to do by Molecule Man, was to destroy or kill every version of Molecule Man in the multiverse. And so with the first Molecule Man that he killed in an alternate reality, it resulted in the destruction of that reality. And that's what started the incursions happening. That's what caused everything to take place. And so the result was that as Doctor Doom was going through and killing all these different versions of Molecule Man, he was effectively speeding up the incursions. He was causing the death of the universe to happen, or the death of the multiverse to happen at a much faster pace than it normally would. Now, eventually there came a time when the Beyonders began to take notice of what was happening. They began to realize that somebody was going through and killing Molecule Man. And so as a result, they basically took to the multiverse to find out who this person was and to end this person, to destroy this person. And so it's at this point that we jump to Hank Pym. And the reason why is because we find out what the Beyonders were doing while they were in the multiverse trying to find the person who was killing Molecule Man when Hank Pym is sent to travel into the multiverse. And what I mean here is that when Captain America first began hunting down the Illuminati, that Reed Richards sent Hank Pym into the multiverse to also be someone who could try to find a way to stop the incursions. And that while Hank Pym had come across all these different alternate realities, that ultimately he discovered, or he stumbled upon, the Beyonders as they were annihilating the Celestials in an alternate reality. Now, once those Celestials were destroyed, then we found the cosmic entities stepped in, that Infinity, Lord Order, Master Chaos, the In-Betweener, Eternity itself. They had all stepped in, but they had all been destroyed by the Beyonders equally in the same way that the Celestials had been destroyed. And so the result here was that while all these different versions of Celestials and cosmic entities and all these realities are being killed, this ultimately drew the attention of the Living Tribunal. And so the Living Tribunal appeared as the being that's designed to serve the purpose of, ensuring balance exists in the multiverse. The Living Tribunal appeared to basically to stop and destroy the Beyonders. But what ends up happening here is the Beyonders use their combined power and they destroy the Living Tribunal. And so at this point in the Marvel continuity, in terms of the entire multiverse, there are no multiversal entities. The only one we know of is the One Above All, and we don't know what's going on with that character. We don't know if that character exists. We don't know if that character is so far beyond the power of the Beyonders that the One Above All doesn't care what's taking place. We don't know if the One Above All was previously destroyed by the Beyonders. These are things that we don't understand here. All we know is that the Beyonders have wiped out the Living Tribunal and that there are no more cosmic entities anywhere in the multiverse. And so what we do here is we pick up with the conclusion of this story as Hank Pym's telling it to the Illuminati. And so Captain America basically stands down. Captain America says that at this point, the focus needs to be on how to survive the collapse of the multiverse, and that the conflict between himself and the Illuminati is basically a very minor thing in comparison to what's going on here. But what Captain America also realizes is that Tony Stark knew all along that this could not be stopped, that since the very beginning of the incursions, Tony Stark knew that there was nothing that could be done to end the incursions. And so in sort of this, state of rage, so to speak, Captain America basically takes to Tony Stark. Now, in truth, this is really just Marvel kind of giving us this last conflict, this last hurrah between Tony Stark and Captain America, a conflict that in truth had really been building since the end of Civil War. But the fact remains here that with Tony Stark and Captain America fighting one another, while the two of them are going at it, and while Tony Stark is eventually made to submit, in the midst of their conflict, what we find is that the Ultimate Universe begins its invasion of the main Marvel universe. And so at this point, this ends our story with Time Runs Out. We actually won't find out what happens next until Secret Wars #1, which comes out on Wednesday. With that being said, I hope this video made sense. I know it was a lot to take in, but Marvel crammed a lot of stuff into a very short amount of time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.